Hey everyone, I've been doing a bit of a series for text neck and what we often call front line short and back line long, meaning most of our daily activities, sitting in front of a computer, driving, riding a bicycle, reading a book, doing dishes, have us all moving into the same kind of position where the front of our body, especially the front of the torso, gets pulled short. You may know this as a slouch. In a non-ideal situation, we do all of our daily activities in a slouched position. And it's more than that. Even different fitness practices or a lack of mind-body awareness cause us to really tighten up in here. So you may notice if you do a ton of yoga, a lot of planks and that kind of thing, ton of hamstring stretches, you might get stuck in this kind of position. But we can create balance by doing exercises that move us in the opposite position, creating back line strength and front line stretch. So we can create balance through both our movements and just your awareness and mindfulness as you go through your daily tasks. So we can focus on posture as we're doing things like, what did I say before? Typing. Are you typing in front of your computer like this? Or are you typing in front of your computer with a nice tall posture? Are you slouching while you do dishes? Or can you do dishes and still maintain a nice tall posture? So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is what we're gonna do here today. You might like a yoga mat for what we're doing. We'll be doing some stuff kneeling, lying on the front, and then lying on the back. So if you like a thicker, squishier mat for more support for your joints and bones kind of stabbing into the mat, go for that. When we lie on the back, you might like a little bit of a cushion in behind the head. And other than that, any kind of comfortable clothing that you would like to have, keeping in mind, everything we do is optional. Feel free to watch it once or twice through and then decide what you think would be of help to you in your own life to create balance. Take what you like and leave what you don't. To start, let's think about our hip flexors. So the muscles that help to lift the leg and create hip flexion get often short, tight, while we sit in a chair. So let's start by stretching them. We can come into a kneeling position. You may have done a kneeling lunge before. Maybe if your coach one day told you to take a knee, coming into this position. And we'll do it in such a way that we create length and stretch. So if you step forward and you do a really tiny step, we're not getting a heck of a lot of length in this back leg. So we're gonna have to take a bigger step forward. You might need to physically pick your leg up and encourage it forward. And we can stay here and hold. We can move in and out of this. You might like to use the floor to help you balance. You might like to have hand on thigh to help you balance. And to come off the kneecap, we can always tuck the toe and lift up instead. It's not always about pain for the kneecap. It can also be about our muscles engaging more when we lift the knee and that helping you to feel more strong and stable in the lower body. For a bonus, whichever leg is in the back, you can go ahead and lift the same arm overhead, increasing that length through the front line of the body. This is where sometimes a mirror can come in handy to check our posture, making sure we're not still in that slouchy position while we're here, but lifting up nice and long. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So we can take both hands down. If you're familiar with child's pose or downward dog, you can move from one side to the other through there. We'll take the opposite foot through. And I'll show you from the front this time. So we're sitting into our lunge. We need enough room between heel and knee to come forward into the position so we're not just stuck way back here and then the knee coming way forward past the toe. We want to be stable and stacked so our knee is over top of our ankle. You'll probably notice it's much more comfortable for the knee and the heel. We can stay still or we can do a flow in and out, staying tall while we're here. Easing our hip flexor into this lengthened range of motion. And we always want to work that comfortable range of motion, maybe on the edge of it, moving into a bit of a muscular discomfort as we get a stretch. But we want to avoid any kind of stabbing or shooting pain or anything that gives you pain after you stop moving. Best to be avoided. I would say consult with someone live who you can converse with, not just me in a pre-recorded video. All right, for our advanced option, whichever leg's in the back, we can lift the same arm. Again, taking note of our posture, long and lifted. So we've stretched the front line of the body. Let's strengthen the back line of the body. We'll come down to lie on our bellies. And we'll start with lengthening the front again. So we'll reach the chest forward and pull the nose back. So you might feel a real stretch in your abs. You might even like to pull the elbows in to create some tension as we reach the chest forward. Now, for some of you, this might be a really high range of motion. Depending on who you are, I know lots of people like to be up much higher, creating that length of line, but I would say for most of us, this is pretty high. So we can walk the arms out further, until you're in a good position where you can tuck the chin and lengthen the back of the neck. You might even like to reach back and double check that the back of the neck is smooth. Usually called a chin tuck, as the name suggests. We are tucking the chin in. My osteopath actually said this is how we should be watching television. She said, remember when we were kids and we used to sit there and watch TV? We should be doing it the same way now. So it might be something you can only comfortably do for 30 seconds to a minute, but try it a few times, see if it gives you some relief for that tight feeling in the front of your body. We've stretched, now let's strengthen. So we'll go ahead and come into a face down prone position. And let's start by pulling the nose away from the mat. Like we just did, we can reach back and make sure the back of the neck is smooth. We don't have any kinks in the back of the neck, no wrinkles, nice and smooth. Let's take our thumbs to our shoulders and we can lift and lower here. So if you've done yoga, this is a variation of cobra, also called a back extension. And we can do it a few different ways. We can lift and hold. We can lift and lower. We can gently use the hands to help us out. So we're not doing an arm exercise, really pushing in to help us lift. The movement is still coming from our back muscles, our deep core muscles, but our fingertips can help us lift just a touch. And you notice as I'm going, I'm not leading with the head or leading with the gaze. I am looking down at the mat the whole time. We'll keep going, rest as you need to, but a few more options. We can reach our hands alongside our thighs, so palms toward our side pockets, shoulders rolling down and back. We might like to interlace the fingers for more stretch. We could also hold a strap or a block. And if we like, we can squeeze our feet towards one another, working our inner thighs. We lift and lower. So this can be a great one for anyone with tight IT bands, so tension along the outer hip and thigh area. We can create tension on the inner thigh by pressing the feet together, and that may help to relieve some of the tension on the outer thigh, causing that IT band tightness. So sometimes it's not just that we need to stretch an area, it's that we need to tighten the opposite side. And then the option here as well, we can lower the head down and lift just the legs. Squeeze the feet together. We can also be lifting one leg at a time, pushing the opposite foot down. You might even feel a bit of a stretch through the hip flexor again that we were just stretching in our kneeling lunge. And we want to be sure to keep the front of the hip bone down. So we aren't lifting up and rolling open, bone stays down. Let's give it a little pause and we'll move into skydiver pose. So we can bend the legs and shake our feet off side to side, windshield wiping. We could also shake our hips off side to side. And even turn the head side to side, getting a little massage for the forehead. When you're ready, skydiver pose. So like the name suggests, we are skydiving, sailing through the air. We can reset the head, all right? So tuck the chin. You might like to rest to the forehead for this one. So giving the muscles in the back of the neck a bit of a break. But if it feels good, again, we tuck the chin and pull the nose away from the mat. Let's lift one limb at a time. So right hand, pushing all other three limbs down. Right foot, pushing all other three limbs down. And we move this like a clock going around. Lifting one, pushing the other three down. Takes a bit of mental coordination. You might find that you go to lift one limb and another one lifts instead. Oops. And that's okay, we just keep going, we recorrect. We can switch directions. Again, another coordination challenge. And at any point, you might find that you need to bend the legs instead. That is perfectly all right. Anytime something is too tough to do with the limbs straight, we can bend them in closer to the spine, and that is okay as well. All right, let's do opposite arm and leg. So right hand, left foot, we can spread the fingers and point the foot to activate our hands and feet. And then left hand, right foot. So whatever isn't lifting is pushing down. Again, yes, okay, a coordination challenge, but I believe in you, you'll figure it out. And if you don't, that's okay too. As long as we are feeling good, maintaining proper form, we're getting somewhere. All right, our final ta-da, let's skydive. So we can lift everything together and hold. I would say this one's often quite tough to lift and lower in faster succession. So let's lift and hold. You might only be lifting like 1 millimeter. And then we can lower down, rest, catch our breath. Again. We could be doing it bent arms and legs, that's okay too. Whatever kind of skydiving you are doing today. Let's do just one more. Lift and hold, make sure we're breathing. And again, let's release. So we can take our forehead down, turn the head side to side, give it a rest. Get a little forehead massage. Shake the hips off. Windshield wipe the legs. And listen to your back here. So we're going to move out of this position. You might feel that you want to come into a child's pose, a flat back, a cat pose, something to round it in the opposite direction. So we'll pull from the belly up and back. And see how you feel. So it might feel good to stretch what we were just working. Might feel good to squeeze the back again in cow, or you may simply like to rest. Take a moment for yourself, however it feels good. flip our feet around and we'll start to make our way down to the floor. Might like a little heart opener here again. So like we are sunbathing at the beach, let's go ahead and lift our chest. You might like to imagine hot sun, hot sand. And we're ready to ease our way down onto the mat. So we can hold behind one thigh, resisting gravity, counterbalancing head and lower body. And then it's up to you for this last one. We should be flat on the back of the head. So I just did a little adjustment, moved my hair out of the way. You might like a thin surface underneath your head. An easy way to do that, to double the mat under your head. I would say don't have too much of a pillow, because if we're trying to avoid head forward position, think about what a really thick pillow does to your head, right? So if we're trying to create balance and lengthen this out, let's come onto a pretty flat surface. That being said, if you know you get dizzy from having your head all the way back or any other kind of discomfort, take care, do what you need to do. All right, so let's tuck our shoulder blades underneath our backs, and we can be here with our legs bent. Often this is the most comfortable, or we can have our legs straight. That's up to you. But here's what we're gonna do to strengthen the back of the neck. Imagine that I have just placed a 1 pound dumbbell on your head and press the back of the head down into the floor with that much pressure. So a tiny, tiny amount of pressure. We're not like, clenching the jaw and jamming the head back into the floor. 1 pound weight, gently pushing the back of the head into the mat. Might be a challenge again for our coordination. I'm pushing my head down into the mat, but the rest of my body can be pretty relaxed. And again, to release, might feel good. Turn the head side to side. Nice and easy. Another great way to stretch the front line of the body is to lie on the floor. You don't even have to do anything. Put on your favorite music, hang out on the floor. For a bonus option, we can take the arms up overhead or bend the elbows out to the side, and you're all set. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, have a great one. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, have a great day.